Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. For those who don't know me, my name is Sarah. Today I'll be comparing my experience going to Disney World and Universal Studios during COVID-19. So I will be comparing topics like the mask policy, waiting in line, quick services, crowds, entertainment, and things like that, so stay tuned. So I went to both Universal Studios and Disney World during the summer of 2020. Both experiences were very hot. In general, I never suggest going to either park during summer ever, let alone during COVID, but since I did, I'll be comparing my two experiences. So the first topic I'm going to cover is the mask policy. So going to Disney, I would say their mask policy was a lot more stricter than Universal. So Disney, it looked like they had specific people designated to walking around with signs saying, to wear your mask and to distance. And if they saw that your mask wasn't on properly, they would tell you to pull it over your nose. That's typically the one thing people do, is have their mask here and not over their nose. So they're very strict on that, and they got people walking around specifically to tell you to put your mask back on. Universal Studios, I want to say they're a little more lenient on it. Also saw a little more areas in Universal where you could take your mask off. But in both parks though, if you are stationary, just standing in one spot, if you want to take a break and you're away from people, I found that you could do that in both parks. All you had to do is stand to the side. I would say most likely if you're standing to the side away from people, they're both pretty okay with you taking a break from your mask. If you had a water bottle with you and you just want to take your mask off and just hold it, not even drink it, just pretend like you're drinking from it, or just have it close to you, it was okay if you were distanced from everybody else. Going on the rides with a mask, I didn't experience this at Universal just because I wasn't with somebody who did it. But at Disney, they are watching you while on the ride. And if they see that you've taken your mask off during the ride, they will stop the music of the ride and call on the intercom to put your mask back on. So don't think that you can take your mask off while on Space Mountain, because I had a friend who took it off on Space Mountain. They turned the music off and put over the speaker for them to put their mask back on. Also, Disney won't allow you to purchase any of the photos from the rides if your mask is off. So both parks are pretty even when it comes to this mask policy. The next topic I'm going to talk about is the distancing within the queue lines. This, I would have to say, is more of the type of people that go to these parks rather than the parks themselves that are enforcing this. I would say the people at Disney were more conscious of the distancing than the people at Universal. I felt like Universal people went in bigger groups. So in both parks they do have stickers on the ground to show where you're supposed to stand. And if you have a large group, it's kind of hard to squish everybody closer together, so it was harder to distance. But it wasn't really something that Disney or Universal could have really done that well. It was more or less the people that went. The third topic I'm going to talk about is the quick service. So at both parks, they're really trying to enforce the mobile ordering off of their app. So at Disney, they make you wait outside and wait for your mobile order to be ready before they let you in, and you have to show them on your phone that it's ready, and then you can go in, get your food, and then sit. They don't let anybody in the building unless your order is ready, so you can't reserve seating or anything like that. At Universal, at least at one of the Harry Potter restaurants, which is where I ate, the one in the new land, not the old one. I kind of forgot what it was called. I feel like a really bad Harry Potter fan for the fact that I don't know what the name of this is. It's not the Three Broomsticks, which is in Islands of Adventure. It's the other one that's near, that's in Diagon Alley. It's a Sneaky Cauldron? Is that what it's called? I feel so bad. Let me look it up. Leaky Cauldron. Did I say Sneaky Cauldron before? So the Leaky Cauldron, that's where I ate. By the way, they don't just have butterbeer, they have all these drink options. My favorite is the lemon one. Second one is the orange one. They are non-alcoholic. So you can try all of them. One of them has boba balls. There's quite a bit of options there. So you don't just have to get butterbeer. So when I went into the Leaky Cauldron, I went through the queue, and then one of them directed me to a table, and from the table they have the QR code that you can put on your phone that will take you to the app and to mobile order online. However, I didn't have any of my information in the app. For some reason it was a lot harder for me to order from there, so they did let me leave the table and go out to the counter to order. Both parks, Disney and Universal, if you have trouble with the online order, they will let you walk up to the counter to order if you are technologically challenged. Back to Universal, once I sat down, if I ordered on there or at the counter, they will bring the food to you. At least that's how it was at Leaky Cauldron. I'm not sure about any of the other places. I feel like it was a lot better set up at Universal. So at Disney, I feel like it was a little more harder because each restaurant is not designed the same way, whereas Universal, I feel like every quick service restaurant is designed the same way. And I mean, when you walk in, you automatically walk into the queue. You have to like get into the queue before you can get into the seating. Whereas at Disney, if you walk into the restaurant, you could be walking into the seating area, you could be walking next to the counter. Every single restaurant there is designed differently. But I want to say the experience was a little better at Universal because they will let you into the building before your food's ready, because you'll get to the queue, someone will direct you to your seat, and then you order from your seat and the food gets taken to you. Whereas at Disney, you gotta wait outside till your food's ready, and then you gotta go and get your food and then find seating. And there might not actually be seating. I ate at the Cosmic Rays. I had a group of about 6 people, which is kind of hard to find seating there because most of their tables are small and only fit like 3 people. So in order to find a big table, we had to wait. So for the quick service experience, I want to say that Universal kind of did a little better than Disney. Both experiences were very similar. However, I do have to give it to Universal just because it was a lot more efficient. Their restaurants are already designed to be efficient. They don't make you wait outside, I guess, unless it's full. That was my experience with the quick service. So my next topic is entertainment. Disney, sadly, doesn't really have any entertainment right now. And if you've been following Disney blogs or honestly common knowledge, you'll see that most of the entertainment cast has been laid off. So with Universal, they're doing almost all their entertainment, if not all of it. They've got parades, they've got characters walking around with masks on. Probably not doing meet and greets, but at least the characters are still there. Their shows are going on. I got to see the new Jason Bourne stunt show, which was pretty cool. I would definitely go see that. Much better than the Terminator show that was there. Sorry. But at Disney, unfortunately, you're not really doing entertainment, which is sad because I brought all my friends to Animal Kingdom and most of them haven't been. I really wanted them to see the Lion King show, which is amazing. My favorite show there, and here they just laid off all the cast, so that's not cool, Disney. They're not doing fireworks at Disney. That I do understand because, one thing, that's a lot of money wasted on money that they don't have right now. 2, lots of crowds. If you've ever been in front of the castle during a fireworks show, you will see how crowded it is. So in order to prevent that, they just cut the fireworks show. So I gotta say, on the entertainment scale, again, Universal did very well. They kept going. They've got pretty much, I didn't notice anything missing from the entertainment at Universal. They pretty much got it all. They even have that water show in the studios. They still got that going. And Disney, sadly. My next topic is the reservation system. So Disney has one, Universal doesn't. Universal never had one, and I don't think they ever will. They don't seem to be limiting the amount of people going in the parks, even though they say they are. Whereas Disney says online that they're limiting to 25%, and I can guarantee you that Universal is not limiting to 25%. I've even talked to some team members, they don't know at what percentage they're actually limiting. So my next point is the crowds. There is a massive difference on the amount of people that are at each park. When I went to Disney, it was nice. It was nice to have not that many people there. It was a lot less at first, and then it started to get more people, but still, going to Disney now, the longest I've waited for a ride was probably 30 to 40 minutes. But in October, since Disney was not doing the Halloween party like they normally do, Magic Kingdom was very crowded in October. The Seven Dwarfs ride, the line obviously was outside of the queue and just kept going and going and going. And they said it was only a 50-minute wait from that point, but it wasn't moving. So we got out because I didn't want to wait. And it was hot still in October. The crowds just in general are not as bad, especially in Epcot. Epcot is such a massive place that you pretty much feel like you're the only person there. You feel like totally spaced out from everybody. But Magic Kingdom is definitely a smaller park, way more people there. I'm not even going to talk about Hollywood Studios because I can just tell that that place is full. I saw somewhere online that the line to get onto one of the Star Wars ride was all the way till the front of the park. I cannot imagine that. And I know these lines, they're distanced, so it's not an accurate, but really you only have about this much space between parties. But Universal Studios, you are way too crowded right now. Like, as I said, I went at the very beginning where there was nobody there, but then they made the deal where you pay for a day and come back for the rest of 2020, and that place was packed. I mean packed. And they were doing these reservation system for the rides, so you had to scan the QR code to get in line, or you just do it on your phone. They have like I heard they call it virtual queue, where you can only do 2 at a time. But if you have multiple people in your party, they can reserve 2. Every person in your party can select 2 rides and how many people. So technically, if you had 5 people, you could reserve 10 rides for all of you. But there has to be an opening. Even Jimmy Fallon. It was so crowded that Jimmy Fallon had to be on the virtual queue pass line. Like, you couldn't get in unless you had a ticket on there. But the thing is, I ended up getting one for Harry Potter. Once I got in line, it was still 2.5-hour wait. It was kind of pointless to be there when it was that crowded. I mean, it was summer, but I didn't expect that many people to be there during COVID, like at all. Nor do I think that it's that safe. Let me say that in quotation marks. Universal Studios was definitely way more crowded than Disney. So I'm gonna have to give that one to Disney. Disney's doing pretty well with the amount of crowds in there, at least what I felt. I was a little much at Magic, and I'm sure Hollywood Studios as well. But on the average day, I felt like Disney is way less crowded than Universal Studios. So my overall conclusion, I mean, during the summer, both of them are going to be very crowded, overheated, miserable. I don't know why anyone goes during the summer. I would say safety-wise, Disney felt a little safer when it comes to COVID, just because they were better at distancing people. They were better at not letting people in the parks as much as Universal. If you're someone who's not very concerned with COVID, then go ahead and go to Universal, unless you really don't want to deal with crowds, which I don't know why you would want to. But it is fall now, so maybe it's not as crowded as in the summer. Because I felt safer at Disney, some of the magic wasn't there, obviously, because the entertainment or a lot of locations aren't open. A lot of the restaurants weren't open. Just a lot of things that weren't there that kind of ruined some of the magic. But overall, it felt more safer. Universal had pretty much everything going for them. Pretty much feels like COVID doesn't even exist anymore when you go there, except for the fact that everyone's wearing masks. If you want more of an overall experience, or if you want 100% of the experience, Universal has that. They have all the entertainment, all the rides are open, all the dining's open that I know of. Pretty much doesn't feel like anything changed at Universal. So conclusion, I would just say it depends on how you take COVID. But that's kind of just how my experience went there. I would say that I am pretty average when it comes to my mentality of COVID, and I felt pretty safe at both. So it just really depends on you as a person, what your mentality of COVID is. That would determine your enjoyability at either park. I hope you enjoyed this video. My next video, I'm going to be comparing Universal and Disney again, but this time I'm going to be comparing my employment with them, because I was employed with Disney and I was employed with Universal at the same time. Which one's better to work for? Which one treats their employees better? Which one pays better? Which one gives you more benefits? What's it like to work for both of them? I'm gonna do a whole video on my comparison of working for both companies. I was gonna put it off because if you work for a company, you have to be really careful on what you say. But because of COVID, I am no longer employed there. So I know a lot of you probably have wondered which company is better to work for. I have a lot to say about it. You're not gonna wanna miss it. If you like this video, make sure you put a like and subscribe so you can see more of my content. So, thanks for watching.